Christmas story is very familiar to us. The heart of the story is described in the following words by St. Luke. And she gave birth to her firstborn son, and wrapped him in swaddling cloths, and laid him in a manger, because there was no place for them in the inn. This part of the story has a familiar sound and a penetrating message, as we recognize that many people live with this reality, that there is no room for them to stay in a place that they might call home. Our cities and towns have many people who are homeless. One of the meanings of this text is that the God who is born into our world at Christmas is always being born into a world that doesn't have room for God. Thus, God may be more easily seen and acknowledged by the poor and the culturally marginalized than by those who can afford their own homes. The Christ child was born outside the city, in a barn, in a feeding trough for animals, because there was no room at the inn. Jesus was born away from centers of influence, away from all that seems important, hidden among the poor. Christ was born into the world of the marginalized, especially the shepherds of the day. The Gospels remind us that the baby who was born at Christmas grows into the Jesus who tells us that there is a privileged presence of God within and among the poor. Furthermore, the quality of our faith is to be judged by the quality of justice in our world, and the quality of justice in our world is to be judged on the basis of how the weakest are cared for. It seems that for the poor, their stables and shelters and mangers are more available for God's birth than are our homes or condos, not to mention our boardrooms, talk shows, college classrooms, sports arenas, and other centers of influence. Within virtually everything that our world judges to be important, there is no space for Christ to be born. That's a message our culture needs to hear. It's not so much that we're insincere or morally deficient. Sincerity, generosity, and moral fiber abound, even among the rich. We saw this as hundreds of people donated over $200,000 for emergency shelters these past few weeks for those who have no place to call home. Our problem is that we believe that God's real blessing lies in being forever young, forever rich, forever good-looking, forever healthy, forever talented, forever important, forever busy, forever productive, forever admired. These values also make the crib hard to find. As the Christmas stories make plain, the God who was born into this world at the first Christmas and who is still trying to take on our flesh in our world cannot easily be found in the places where we live our daily lives. And it's more our busyness than our badness that's the problem. In our lives and in our world, it seems that there's always no room at the inn, no place to welcome the God who wants to be born there. The Christ child then, as at the first Christmas, must be born outside our city, among the poor, in places where we find him only by letting ourselves be led by the poor, the children, or by some other guiding star. This year, as people have become more aware of the homeless in our midst, as people have provided homeless shelters, perhaps we are becoming aware of the mystery of the manger and the need to make room for the homeless and the needy in our midst. I take this opportunity to express gratitude to all who have responded to our emergency shelters project. May this Christmas remind each one of us that the Lord continues to desire to be born in our lives. Let us construct our own shelter where the Lord can be born this Christmas. May this Christmas bring you an abundance of joy, peace, and good health.